But I'm
last.
saying the opportunity exists today, right now,
Well, I'm
right?
saying,
Because I don't want it to be
right,
2040 and
that's what
then
I'm
we're
saying.
just getting started. Like we have a lot of people who are in this industry on the Lightning Network, who's working on Bitcoin mining, who are training kids. So it's like, hey, start today.
And that's
All
why
right.
I'm here, because I'm like, I'm the last person y'all probably expected to maybe to take on to gravitate towards Bitcoin, because I'm not in some big futuristic progressive, and that's please a misnomer, progressive city, quote unquote, like San Francisco, even though they have a lot of people living in cardboard boxes, don't sound too damn progressive to me, or New York City, where they have a lot of homelessness too, and people being gentrified out of their communities, not too progressive to me. I'm in a small town in the rural South, and not just the rural South, the deep South. South Carolina is a state of the quintessential deep South state, and yet here I am talking to people about Bitcoin. Some people don't know. It's funny
Mhm.
I mentioned that to some people. They don't know. I think I've seen on McDonald's the drive-through window they accept Bitcoin or they accept cryptocurrency. Like some people don't know what it
What
is.
is the gap? No, I'm interested. So, what is the gap of understanding? What is the first sort of questions that they ask about Bitcoin?
So some
Because
people
this
have
will help
heard of
me.
it.
Yeah.
Some people have heard of it, but they don't see our people. And when I say our people, I'm talking about Black Americans first and
Mhm.
foremost, but even the white Americans here and
Yeah.
people of other races and
Absolutely.
ethnicities are so busy struggling to survive, like working 2 to 3 jobs and still not making enough. This is especially true in the Black Americans' case, but even the white
Mhm.
Americans here too who are poor. Not
Right.
trying to say the two are
So they
equal,
don't
because
have enough time to like
right.
dedicate
Some
to
heard of it, but
read
they don't
and
know what
learn
it
and
is,
educate. And
and
and,
it's
and I will tell you this. I'll tell you this. I got off the phone with senators, right? So we talk to people who are creating policy, okay, and they don't know about this. So I don't want to just say it's just it's an age thing. It's many
it's not
different
even an age
demographics.
thing.
We are early. We are early. So a lot of times in these conversations, it's just educating like, okay, what is the blockchain? How does that work? Why is this different? Who is the creator of like Bitcoin? And you say it's Satoshi, but nobody knows who this is. Like, wait,
It's
what?
really
This is not a
complicated.
like, is this a software company? Does this exist? I was like,
Well,
no, it's
people think it's
completely
like an
decentralized.
FTI,
It's
and I'm like, no,
yeah,
it's actually a conglomerate of different people who are anonymous and
yeah.
just gave
It's a
themselves.
global network.
Right.
Correct.
So,
Hmm.
people who do know about it, they don't
Hmm.
trust it. That was me. Now, when I
Hmm.
say more about it, that don't mean I can tell you, oh no, this, Lightning
So
Network.
what was one of the concerns? Let's get into it. So what was one of the first concerns that you
Well, my
had?
concerns was always that, okay, first of all, I saw what happened with that Robinhood app with the whole GameStop
We
thing.
can talk about
And the
that. Yeah.
moment that people who are poorer and working class, and no, I am not Bernie Sanders here, because my thing is on Repair Black America. So I'm always going to
Mhm.
go from the Black American, the freedman angle, but just general, whenever something is benefiting people who are supposedly not supposed to ever progress upward mobility in society,
Mhm.
they always try to find a way to scam people out of their money, like happened with that Robinhood GameStop
Yeah.
fiasco. Then I was
Right.
also, I guess people are afraid of what they don't understand when it comes to things like this. They'll understand. I'm like, okay, I can lose my money investing in this. I'm not going to do it. And yet,
Mhm.
people spend far more on a month on lottery tickets and have a far lower
Yeah.
chance of ever getting
They
a
treat that as their 401k, as their
right.
S&P 500.
Right, and yeah, so
Their stock
that's
market.
so I was
Hmm.
thinking. So some people I know, like I have a cousin, she buys lottery tickets, like plastic bags
Hmm.
full of it. She's been
Oh man, I
doing it
know,
for
man.
decades. And
We got aunties like that. Yeah.
she could probably have, she probably could have hit the lottery just by saving the money she has spent now on lottery tickets. And yet
Uh-huh.
people will do that before they'll do Bitcoin. And another thing is some people just they think it's only for quote unquote smart people, and or you have to be like a real
Mhm.
nerd to be into that. And those were some of the
Okay.
misconceptions I had and other people
Yeah.
have had. And it's
Mhm.
not that I wasn't saying that when I say smart people who like, do coding, some people think it's something
Mhm.
very niche like that. And it's none of those things.
let's walk through all three of those because I think that is a perfect place to start. So, one with Robinhood. Robinhood, and you have to be careful where you get your Bitcoin. There's a saying called "not your keys, not your coins." So, what that means is Bitcoin. Every transaction it has a public key, which is publicly facing. So it's like a string of numbers that everybody can see, but it doesn't tell you who owns it. So the person who owns it is the private key. So it's like a second layer of security that you hold that is your ownership. That is your Bitcoin. You hold those keys, right? That's your private key. Now, a company like Robinhood, which they don't tell you, unfortunately, and that's why we have to educate. They are the ones that hold the
Yeah,
private keys.
it's
So
simply
they're actually they're holding the Bitcoin. You just own the dollar amount of Bitcoin, but you don't actually
right.
hold
It's like you
the
own the
hard
value.
asset.
Like it's during the days when we used to base our currency off of gold. They have the gold. You're never going to get it. You just have a
Mhm.
bill that's supposed to represent the value of gold. But at any point, they have the actual resource. Yes.
Right. So
That's
people
the
have to know
nature.
what exchanges. Yeah. So we work with Kraken. Like you get to hold your own private keys. Even Coinbase. They are uh, questionable in other areas, but Kraken, even Cash App. Like you
Issue
hold your
with
keys.
Coinbase. It's not the Bitcoin stuff. It was just that it wasn't user friendly, and I got off it really
Right.
fast.
No, but a lot of people say like, "Hey, I thought I can hold my own like money like with Robinhood. You know how they shut down trading for during the AMC's GameStop era, and they stopped trading. Well, they stopped people from buying, so like you can only sell, and you're like, wait, how can you control that? Like you're controlling the levers of the market. Like this is not a free market now. So you have to be careful what exchanges that you use and make sure that you hold your own private keys. The second portion was when you was talking about the lottery tickets, right? I think what we teach in BBB is having a long-term mindset when it comes to finances. We talk about dollar cost averaging. So dollar cost averaging is the consistent accumulation of an asset over time. So if you have $10, $20, $100, whatever you have that you can set aside, and every the first Monday of the month, I put $10, I put $50 in Bitcoin. And there are apps right now that you can preset it. So it will take that money and like on every first Monday of the month, you can buy $20 worth of Bitcoin and just slowly accumulate over time. Because Bitcoin has accumulated in terms of has rise in its value by
It just hit a
200%
record this year.
year over year, year
Yeah.
over year, every from the decade, I guess 12 years now that it's been around. Well, now like close to 14.
Yes.
On average, it has increased in value by 200% every year. This is insanity. There's nothing in Wall Street that can do that. There's nothing. There's no asset. You put your money in the S&P. You can. It's nothing that has performed that well. It's the best performing asset on planet Earth that exists. Okay, so that's number two in terms of not feeling like, oh, if you put that $5 on a lottery ticket every week, that adds up like every month. That's $20, and you most likely going to get statistically you're going to get nothing out of that, where I can put that $20 each month into Bitcoin or each week into Bitcoin, every day into Bitcoin, however you feel most comfortable. So it's having that, not having that short term horizon and having more of a long term of saying, hey, I'm going to generate wealth over time. And this is a wealth preserving asset. The last portion you talked about was it like this is
Coding, like you
for the
have to be
nerds. Yes.
right Silicon Valley intern type person.
Right. So I'm not sure if you heard what happened in El Zante. It's in El Salvador, right? So
They
El
made it
Salvador,
they made
yeah,
it one of their national currencies, right?
absolutely. So they made it, and I guess that was last year,
Last
2020. Yeah, 2021. President Bukele, he made Bitcoin legal tender. So their legal currency is one, the US dollar and Bitcoin, right? And how that started was this area in El Salvador is called Bitcoin Beach. Now, these uh, are people living in a community that I think on average, like their monthly, they make maybe $100 a month, you know, in El Salvador. Like that's like the average income that they have in these communities. So it's very, very poor communities in a poor country, right? But they were able to download download different apps, the Strike app they were using, and they were doing their entire economy in Bitcoin. And that actually got the word to the president is like, oh wait, they're exchanging like Bitcoin and this economy is growing, and they're doing services and goods and trading melons and juices and fruits and stuff like that and doing Bitcoin. So when I say it's like, oh, this is for the high tech guys, that's a myth, because the reason why El Salvador now has Bitcoin as legal tender is because a tiny little island in the country, right? And it was community based. So it's a couple of clicks, a couple of buttons, like, hey, this is where I buy, this is where I sell, or I press this button. If you know how to work in Instagram, you can work Bitcoin. That's as simple as it gets. If
Well,
you know
let me
how to
tell
scroll
you,
through
I have
Instagram.
a friend in Nigeria, which is a modern country, but is still
Mhm.
very much so a developing nation. And Bitcoin is booming over there. Like my friend, he
Yes,
teaches
absolutely.
classes on it, and
Got a lot
his
of
classes
connections
are
there.
always full. So it's definitely spreading. And I want to say, because I'm running on a reparations platform,
Mhm.
and the big fear when people hear me talk about Bitcoin, we ain't gonna give you our reparations in Bitcoin. I want the US dollar. They give everybody else. So I want to be
Yeah,
very clear to people. My platform, I always say direct monetary payments. So in case America tries to pull a fast one, I don't foresee this happening. And this
mhm.
country knows no levels of depravity that they will not go to when it comes to being
This is
anti-black.
true.
But I always say direct monetary payments. And the reason I say monetary payments is because it's going to be whatever tender that is backed by the federal government. Now, that being said, I am, as of now, that's the US dollar. I am pushing Bitcoin because, one, after doing my own study, even though I spoke with people who are very passionate about it, such as yourself and educated, I don't back nothing that I am not convinced will be good for my people and for
Sure.
my district,
Mhm.
first and foremost. Even though I'm going to be a congressman in the United States, the federal government, and I'm going to have my legislation will be national, I always start off with South Carolina District 6. And I found out the concerns about Bitcoin, the main criticism that's levied against it is that it's bad for the environment. Now, I find that quite hypocritical when you look at the fact that Black Americans
Right.
have been living in
Mhm.
communities with the highest levels of toxicity in their water, highest
Mhm.
levels of fuel exhaust, and are most likely to be in areas where the environment has been so polluted, we're more likely to have allergies, asthma, bronchitis, and other respiratory problems. So I want to know, with these bleeding heart environmentalists, where are they when Black Americans are dying from either Flint not having clean water or Denmark, South Carolina not having clean water? Where are these people who are so concerned about the environment who are criticizing Bitcoin? You're going to be concerned about the environment. Let's be concerned about the environment through and through. I did research because I ain't
Mhm.
going to stand on nothing that I cannot defend. So I found out, first of all, that Bitcoin can actually be an asset to the environment. But there are two things it
Yes.
has to have. One,
Mhm.
it has to be located close Bitcoin mining centers, which is a booming industry. And that's what I want to bring to my district because it could be a
Mhm.
high source of jobs. And not just that, it can also lead to other industries. But here's what you have to have: you have to be close to sources of energy. I live in
Mhm.
a rural region, but it's coastal as well. We have an
Mhm.
abundance of swamps, marshes. tributaries.
Hydropower. Hmm.
Not yeah, not no, not hydropower.
Okay.
It's a segment of that
Okay.
in the ocean. It's called tidal power. It's a
Okay.
new industry that's still developing, but
Hmm.
few areas can do it. But our area can. It's when you put these type of receptors that absorb the energy of the ocean's rising and lowering
Tides
tide.
coming in. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
But not just that. It can even be built to absorb the energy of hurricanes. Now, I read in a comic book when I was in high school that a small hurricane has the power of like 300 nuclear bombs. And I actually went online and did research and found out, okay, with a little bit of exaggeration, but
Hmm.
a small hurricane has a hell of a lot of power. And excuse my expression, enough power that it can power a large city for an entire year. I am thinking, and this is my vision, two industries. One will benefit the other. I want to bring tidal power to my region that is coastal, has an abundance of land. First of all, it's going to be clean. Everybody talks about the Green New Deal, Green New Deal, Green New Deal. I don't know what the hell that is. Not interested in it. I know Alexander Ocasio-Cortez got something to do with it. I ain't read the fine print. I'm not going to sign anything on which I have not read the fine print. But I know about her Green
Hmm.
New Deal. I'm
Okay.
interested in coming up with a good deal for once in this country for Black Americans. And my district is majority Black. So here's my Green New Deal alternative. Tidal energy. It's clean. It comes from something that's always going to happen. The ocean tides are always going to rise and fall. And being that I'm in a subtropical region, we are always going to have hurricanes and tropical storms come here. I mean, when it rains here, like today, you will think a tropical storm is about to make landfall. That energy will be clean, it will be efficient, and it will be able to power bit mining centers. But not just that. Also, bit mining can help lower energy costs for businesses and homeowners in my area. I did the research. I found out that this myth that it takes something they claim more um, energy than some entire town uses an entire year to mine one Bitcoin. Um,
Oh,
Bitcoin.
yeah, that's
I
fud.
know.
That's actually not correct. Yeah.
Did my research. Actually,
Okay.
the bigger concern is all of the energy waste that goes
Yeah.
unused and that
Yeah.
rises, that causes people's bills to increase. I found out that Bitcoin mining can actually be used to
Mhm.
optimize energy usage. The waste from
Mhm.
energy and excessive
Yeah.
energy that rises people's bills and that literally could put people on the street when they can't afford it, that could be used and diverted to Bitcoin mining industries. That's one thing I found.
Absolutely.
Second of all,
Mhm.
I found out that there's another technology that might help in other areas that some Bitcoin mining centers have been using in the United States of America and China, where most Bitcoins are mined.
Mhm.
And it's called cool immersion, where it's pretty
Mhm.
much a way like these areas that have large servers. When one large server is it begins to overheat. That large server is immersed in this type of mist that cools, and the energy is then diverted to other ones. It's pretty much like cycling energy while
Yeah.
deliberately cooling the other, and that could be used in other industries as well. So I always said to people when someone confronted me with that, I said, "So let me get rid of my washing machine." Because washing machines are probably running on my energy bills. I said, let me get rid of
Mhm.
my TV and just turn on the radio since the
Yeah.
television runs the energy bill. We don't preclude innovative industries because they cause problems. We look at how to solve the problems that those
Mhm.
innovative industries bring so we can continue to innovate. Because
Mhm.
if someone would have said, well, let's not go and get a washing machine, let's go and wash clothes by hand because
Yeah.
washing machines
Takes too
cost
much energy. Yeah. Uses too much energy.
right.
No.
We would never
Right.
prevent it. Someone would have
Of course.
said, the radio is too loud, it's hurting people's ears. Let's
Yeah.
not use
Yeah.
the radio, let's not television. We have to solve issues that innovation brings in order to continue innovating. That's my approach. And one thing about me, I'm gonna stand my ground on something. Unless I'm
Mhm.
proven wrong. I don't mind admitting that I'm wrong, but on this here, I haven't seen any evidence of it.